Meantime, in the Middle East, a 20-year-old hacker has given ISIS the names, email addresses, and location of more than 1,000 federal employees and members of the military. In Iran now, well, they say, hey, we've got $100 billion. That's right. They unfroze those assets due to that landmark nuclear deal. Iran's supreme leader, by the way, also awarded medals to those troops who captured U.S. sailors. Joining me now, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, Sheriff David Clark, and Jillian Melcher. Zuhdi, let me start with you on this. Yeah, it just feels like ISIS, no matter what we do, what the news is, when we win somewhere, we have good momentum somewhere, they go somewhere else, and it feels so uncontained, it's really frightening.
It really is, and I think, Charles, what's important to learn here is first we heard that it was just a data breach months or a year ago, and now we're finding out it's ISIS. We're finding out it's out of Kosovo and out of Malaysia, so these are not exactly enemy countries. These are allies and open economies, and we're finding out that it's not just the addresses and that these individuals could be targets, but their IDs could be used to be given to refugees, to be given to those who want to enter the West. So the exposure here to anyone who thinks that somehow the era of national security is something we can use light budgets on, think again. We are exposed on every front, and cyber threat is one of the primary ways for them to get into our network and make people look differently than they do. And
that's new age warfare, the old school stuff. It feels like we might be embarrassed and slipping on that too, Sheriff Clark, because that incident that happened with our sailors, I'm still a little bit confused. I think most of America is. And, of course, now the Iran using it for more propaganda, you know, giving these folks who were involved in that rewards and things. What do you make of it? They've got $100 billion, and they're more belligerent than ever.
Well, they're on their way. They're one of the nations, along with Russia, North Korea, and China, that engage in cyber attacks. Look, if you get somebody's date of birth and their Social Security number, you own them. And it's amazing the damage that can be done when it happens. The thing that bothers me, though, is not just government, but these corporations as well that have been hacked and have been breached. They always underreport when it happens right away. They say it's not that serious. We'll be able to clean this up. No sensitive information got out. And then we learned months later that it was very, very damaging. The problem with the government, when you have to give them your information, you know, like the IRS, I have to give them my Social Security number, I have to give them my date of birth. I expect them to protect it, but these governments and some of these corporations spend very little in the area of protecting data until they're breached, and then they come out and say, we take this seriously. Right. Well, it's too late by that point.
It's absolutely too late. I mean, I know when I'm back in Wyoming, big military place, military wives are telling me, my friends, that they are concerned. They know that the FBI is investigating ISIS in all 50 states. Those girls are packing. Don't hit them in Wyoming.
Don't hit them in Wyoming?
No.
What about, though, the idea that for Kosovo, places like this, we could be vulnerable, like, you know the most far-reaching places in the planet where we don't even necessarily equate danger or ISIS or anything like that?
Sure, and I think this is part of the Islamic State getting a technological advance going on. You know, they've used social media very effectively to recruit. I think this sort of hacking warfare, this technological warfare, is certainly going to be a component that we see going forward. And if we're looking in the context of the United States and world affairs, Iran's hopping all over us, sees an opportunity. Islamic State certainly does too.
We're getting hit from all over. Universally, it's a sign of disrespect. Thank you guys very much.